no discharge in the war.
Looks like you got tied up and left for the infected. There are strange people on the mainland.
Spike, finish it!
What is up, everybody? Jeremy Eisenfire here, and welcome to the channel. As we continue to get closer and closer to the release date for 28 years later, we are now getting a ton of new promotional material, including an all-new 5-minute preview of the upcoming film. One thing director Danny Boyle has stated in the past is that he wanted this film to create a sense of suffocating intensity for the viewer. And if this 5-minute preview is any indication of how the overall tone of the film is going to be, he certainly has succeeded.
I want that sense of suffocating intensity. It doesn't feel like a sequel, it feels like an original film.
The preview starts off with an interesting title crawl that gives us more context as to what the rage virus has done to Britain over the last 28 years in the state that it is currently in. As it states, the rage virus has laid waste to the UK. It was driven back from the continental Europe. The British mainland was quarantined to contain the virus, as survivors were left to fend for themselves. As we then see an extended version of a scene from previous trailers, of Jamie and his son Spike spotting a herd of deer running by, most likely on the hunt that Jamie takes Spike on at the beginning of the film, with Spike stating that they are amazing, as Jamie also states that they are beautiful. And you definitely get the sense that Spike hasn't seen a whole lot of what is going on outside of their walls, with him most likely spending the majority of his life inside of the gated community, with this being his first real look at the mainland. As next we see Jamie and Spike proceed to make their way towards an abandoned building, the same building we've seen in previous trailers, with this being a much more extended look at the scene. Just as Jamie and Spike open the door, we see a small animal scurry past them, startling them both. As Jamie states, it's always worth looking around for something useful, teaching his son the importance of scavenging in this new world. As they begin to search, with Spike finding some silverware and Jamie finding a frisbee, something that Spike had never seen before in his life. But next, they begin to hear a loud noise coming from one of the rooms down the hall, putting both of them on edge as they proceed to cautiously check it out, only to find what appears to be a dead body hanging upside down, with a crow pecking at its liver. Which instantly reminded me of the story of Prometheus. And seeing as the imagery of a crow picking at someone's liver is meant to symbolize eternal torment and suffering, you start to wonder if it is also symbolic of the lives of the infected, and the eternal torment and suffering that the rage virus victims now live with on a day-to-day basis. And just as in previous trailers, we also see that the body has the name Jimmy carved in its chest, which of course isn't the only time we spot the name Jimmy in the trailer, as it is also seen in another shot on the side of a wall next to a quote from the book of Revelations, which states, "Behold, Jimmy, he is coming with the clouds," a phrase that refers to the second coming of Jesus Christ. But as they proceed to get closer to the body, they realize it's not dead at all, but rather an infected, as Jamie proceeds to use this opportunity to teach his son a lesson, as Spike asks Jamie what happened, with Jamie replying that it looks like he got tied up here and left for the infected. And when Spike wonders why anyone would do such a thing, Jamie replies that it could have potentially been a punishment, or maybe even a warning, as he then proceeds to tell Spike that there are strange people living on the mainland, which is what makes their home so precious.
Looks like you got tied up and left for the infected. Maybe a warning. There are strange people on the mainland.
And you definitely get the sense that this is not just a mere hunting trip that Jamie is taking Spike on, but rather a trip to give his son a taste of what the real world is actually like, and what life looks like outside of their settlement, as he then proceeds to give his son the ultimate test, and charges him to kill the infected, which Spike, of course, is naturally hesitant to do so, as I imagine this might be the first infected he has ever even seen up close. But as Jamie is trying to prepare him for the real world, he tells his son the more of them that he kills, the easier it'll get, and tells him that he shouldn't feel bad about killing them, as the infection has now taken over their minds, and Jamie believes if they have no mind, then they have no soul, as he once again orders his son to shoot it, as Spike continues to hesitate, as he appears to be gripped by fear, as we then begin to see that the infected is starting to break free, as it managed to free its arms, as Jamie continues to plead with his son to shoot it before it's too late, as the infected breaks free, just as Spike puts an arrow through its head in the nick of time.
For Christ's sake, Spike! Fucking kill it!
As the scene then ends with Jamie telling his son well done. And I'm really loving the overall tone and the feel of the film so far. You certainly get a certain feeling of unease watching Jamie and his son go throughout this abandoned house not knowing what's around every corner. And I'm really enjoying the dynamic that they're establishing between Jamie and his son Spike as well. You definitely get the sense that this is not just a hunting trip, but more of a training exercise, where Jamie is giving his son Spike a crash course on what the world is really like outside of their settlement, while also giving him proper reference for why a community like theirs is so special in a world like this. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how the world and the rage virus itself has evolved over these last 28 years. Judging by the opening title crawl of the film, you definitely get the sense that the entire country has been left to fend for themselves, where they not only have to contend with the victims of the rage virus, but also the worst of humanity as well. And I must say, this was a fascinating first look at the upcoming 28 years later, and if Danny Boyle was looking to capture a suffocating intensity, then he has definitely managed to do so in this one scene alone. And I can only imagine what he and Alex Garland have in store for us for the rest of the film. And how I really enjoyed how thrilling this preview was, there were a few moments that stood out above the rest, like some dialogue from Jamie in particular, with him stating that there are strange people living on the mainland. Up until now, we have heard rumors of an apparent death cult that could potentially have some part in the film, and I'm starting to wonder now if Jamie has maybe already had a run-in or two with some of these strange individuals in the past. And if nothing else, it would also fit into the theme of the film that not only have the infected evolved, but humanity has evolved as well. And while we're not 100% sure what they have evolved into, you definitely get the feeling that humanity is going to be as big a threat in this film as the infected will be, maybe even more so. One thing we do know from the trailers is how Ralph Fiennes' character, Dr. Kelson, appears to be one of these individuals that lives on the mainland, and how he apparently has a few very strange viewpoints on life. And if some of his minimal dialogue from the trailers is any indication, it definitely seems like he has a fascination with death in particular, as we not only hear him stating that there are many different kinds of death, and some are better than others, but we also hear him teaching Jamie's son about memento mori, which of course means, remember that you must die. A phrase that is meant to showcase the fragility of human life and to enjoy it while you can, as one day we will all die. And while we still don't know a whole lot about Ralph Fiennes' character, it definitely appears that he is going to be taking some kind of special interest in Jamie's son Spike, as the two of them, along with Spike's mother, are seen together in multiple different scenes in the trailers. But what exactly he wants with Spike still remains to be seen. But whatever it is, I get a strange feeling that it is not entirely going to be good. And I wouldn't be too surprised if a portion of the film shows Jamie trying to rescue his family before it's too late. But overall, this 5-minute preview definitely has me incredibly hyped to see 28 years later, and I get the feeling the entire aesthetic and tone of this film is going to be incredibly intense, just as Danny Boyle intended. But that is going to do it for our breakdown of the 5-minute preview of 28 years later. And definitely let me know your thoughts in comments down below, and will you be seeing 28 years later in theaters when it hits June 20th? And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like on your way out and consider subscribing to stay up to date on all of our upcoming content. And be sure to join our Discord for a deeper discussion into 28 years later. And as always, I want to give a big thank you to everybody out there for watching, and we will see you on the next one.
There's no discharge in the war.